Hello, Cody here, and I am the team lead for the WonderTix Capstone project at Portland State University, Winter Spring 2022. Team is Mazin, Tim, Lawrence, Josh, Sam, and Junfei. A brief overview of WonderTix is that it is a ticketing and donation web application that utilizes a database to implement CRM functions. They are currently solving with an off-the-shelf market solution. Portland Playhouse is looking to have WonderTix be the replacement in order to save them money, as well as be a future licensable product for other small theaters like themselves. Our primary goal was to ensure and continue the work of the previous team on the CRM, while also exploring the ticketing side in preparation for integration. Next, I'm going to demonstrate some of the features that we were able to implement during our time on the WonderTix project. Here we have the initial authentication page utilizing Auth0. I will go ahead and sign in with a single sign-on with my Portland State account. Here in placeholder locations, we have a greeting as well as a logout button. And then on the top nav bar, we implemented also a button which links to Portland Playhouse's current website. And finally, features in task management such as create and edit tasks were implemented from specifications gathered by the previous team. While this is still not fully connected to the backend, this has been approved by Portland Playhouse as far as the fields and the functionality intended behind them. Edit tasks does have a UI issue that arose from working with third-party developers. However, it has been documented for the next team to be able to quickly and easily be able to continue on implementing and finalizing the edit task.
Hi, my name is Sam, and today I'm going to be talking about two things that we did during our project. One is just project details and another one task management. That's the feature I implemented. So in the beginning of the project, our main focus was just trying to get to know the existing work that was being handed off from another team and to basically expand and iterate upon the features that they had implemented or couldn't get to. So one of the biggest goals that we had as a team was to basically write code that is buildable and it upholds the integrity of open source project. So we focused a lot heavily on that early on to write the code that is easy to give to other incoming teams also. One of our target audience is the employees and volunteers at Portland Playhouse. The feature that we implemented are mainly task management, which is geared towards UI and front end, and then GraphQL, which is database, and authentication, which is back end, a little bit of front end also. So now task management. This is the feature that I had implemented. As I said, it is more geared towards front end. So my focus was just using React and its components. And the beauty of React and its components is that they can be broken down into small components that can be used to build products in the future also, to optimize products basically, or optimize features. So that was my main focus, to break down the components. So I did just that. I implemented two things in task management. Task management is where Portland Playhouse can go in their task management feature and build any task for their employees and stuff. Task management has two things, which is one is create task and another is edit. So create task has a web form basically, which takes task ID, parent ID, subject, and due date and the description of the task. And the edit and view task is where you can go and look at somebody's tasks that have been assigned to them in the past. You can filter them through dates. You can look at the notes that people left in the past and stuff like that. You can also create subtasks through this and edit tasks also. And also, just like create task, edit task uses 3 components, which is filter, notes, and task form, and they're all built separately, again, to just really hone in and emphasize on the fact that this is the kind of project that will be handed on to the future group, and they can work on it to optimize task management in the future also. So yeah, that's my feature. Thank you.
Hey everyone, this is Mazin. I'll be talking about the authentication feature a little bit more in detail. So the WonderTix CRM is a private application made for use by the Portland Public Playhouse people only, internal use. And so we used Auth0, an authentication framework, to protect the app. In order to access any of the functionality, you have to be logged in, and accounts can be created and deleted by the people managing it. It also supports single sign-on, which is important when the application is expanded into the ticketing side, meaning that the developer can log in on one of the applications, either CRM or ticketing, and be logged in both of them automatically. We also automated the backend with type GraphQL Prisma. This will help future backend developers spend more time on business logic with a safer, more maintainable, better documented API that can quickly pivot with changing business requirements. Let's see it in action. Using Apollo Sandbox, developers will be able to access helpful documentation on the data available to the application. Let's try this create customers API call. Using the interactive query composer, I can add someone named Hamlet to the Portland Public Playhouse customers. And if I want to retrieve Hamlet from the database, I can search for a way to do that and then get that data I requested to the front-end application. With Prisma integrated into the project, we get a safer and more productive development experience. With the included Prisma Studio, developers can easily perform CRUD operations on a more transparent and testable database. For instance, a developer can filter to find our new customer Hamlet.
Hey everyone, this is Lawrence. I'm here to talk about a few of the additional features we got to work on and some of the future work we would do if we had more time. So some of the additional features that the team got to work on was the containerization of the database. This will help with simplifying deployment for all of the future clients that may be using the software. And we also got to work with a lot with the database reduction and simplifying this. This created less overhead and made things easier to navigate. And we also got to remove about 10,000 lines of code from the original script. So if we had more time, or if we were planning future work for ourselves, some of the things that we would work on were doing the transition from the front end, from using the current REST API that we're using to the new GraphQL API. We would use optimization of the existing authentication that we've already implemented. So just kind of extra features on some of the things that we already got to work with. Then we would also have more testing of our front end to the database connection. And then we would also do completion of the account info portion in the task management features. And then another one would be creating a fully interactive seating chart. And then finally, the full implementation of bringing this code from a closed source to an open source.
Hello everyone, my name is Timothy Maloney. First, let's go over the WonderTix architecture. The WonderTix project consists of 2 user interface applications that each provide the user with the ability to query customer or event data from a single Postgres database. The applications are referred to as CRM for customer data and ticketing for event data. Both applications are written in TypeScript. Next, let's take a look at what our development process looked like and some of the pros and cons that we noticed. We had 2 weekly meetings. We had 1 stand-up meeting with everybody and a weekly check-in with our project manager, Cody. We didn't have a real agile sprint structure. Devs focused on domains where they had the most expertise, and otherwise collaboration took place via discussion of ideas, bugs, and other issues on Discord. What went well was allowing devs to focus on areas they had expertise in. This meant that they were able to hit the ground running, and their contributions often had a high positive net impact as they had the most expertise in that domain. Discussing blockers, bugs, and other issues on Discord made talking about issues and helping each other go smoothly. When team members had a bug or something that they couldn't work out, people were able to hop on Discord and help them get those figured out. What went poorly was kind of also what went well. A lack of common domain expertise amongst the team meant that certain contributions could only come from certain people. And so there were never any sprints where there were a set of issues we could all collectively work on. Each person just worked on what they felt they could make contributions to. So yes, while this was a good thing and that people were able to make positive contributions in areas that they had expertise in, the lack of common expertise amongst everyone meant there was no true collaboration on design issues apart from discussion on Discord.
Hello, Cody again, and now I'd like to go over some of the responsibilities and contributions that my team made towards the WonderTix project. Sam was able to work on the task management, as well as she worked with a third-party developer who was a member of the previous teams. Tim worked on the database, and he was able to both reduce the size of the code by over 10,000 lines, as well as make it much easier to deploy for the team to be able to work on the code. Junfei did some work on the landing page UI in the front end, and he was doing this impressively with no background experience and learning on the job. Mazin worked on authentication and ultimately settled on Auth0. In addition to this, he worked very closely with the spring-summer team lead in order to ensure that the best practices were being followed. Josh worked on the backend, Prisma Studio, and GraphQL implementations and integrations. On top of this, he was able to help with many various bugs and issues that came up throughout the project. And finally, Lawrence was working on various avenues of research to aid myself and the team when we made important decisions regarding the project.
Hello, I'm Josh, and I'll be telling you about the unexpected events that occurred during development. The first one was not having a standardized procedure to get the project running. We overcame this by documenting how to build the project, step by step, for the platforms we expected developers to use. Due to everyone using different development platforms, we encountered interesting system-specific bugs. For instance, running the backend using one Node.js distribution would cause an entire feature to fail. Another problem was the amount of potential solutions to go through when adding a new feature. When a new way to do authentication was found, ongoing research revealed a better solution, and development progress had to be restarted. This happened twice. Since this is a continuous capstone, when a new team starts development, another one has just left. For some features, this meant dealing with the challenges of coordinating with third-party developers. Within our own team, we had to overcome the coordination issues that come with working fully remote, even when team members were in other countries. Unfortunately, we were unable to get direct feedback from the sponsors on the overall project due to their hectic summer schedule. However, during the meetings, we were often met with understanding when setbacks occurred and praise over the features completed during our time on the project.
Hi, this is Junfei. I'm going to talk about the lessons we learned in this two-term capstone. We have learned 3 core lessons. The first lesson is about teamwork. Through the cooperation, we successfully completed each process as planned. Because of the trust between us, we all did our best to get the work done. Due to the communication, we can reflect the trouble in time and overcome it. We learned the second lesson in solving unpredictable problems. A good documentation is important. It can help when developing software. If applicable, using third-party software can avoid reinventing the wheel. From the weekly meeting, we learned that sharing ideas and knowledge is very helpful to the team. Apart from that, we have one-on-one meeting each week. This improves the efficiency of communication. Finally, special thanks to Portland Playhouse, which include Ariana, Brian, and Haley, who provide us a valuable chance and sufficient information. Also, special thanks to Bruce at Portland State University, who gives us a lot of instructions. That's all we have for you. Thanks for listening.